All right, we have our hinge, pull, and core workout. To start off, we're going to play with some hinge awareness progressions. So what I want you to do is to stand about shoulder width apart in your stance, and then sitting your hips back, placing your hands on your knees. Then here I'm going to flex my abdomen and extend my spine. So we're going to play with the spine movement in this hinged position. Tucking my chin and hips, and then extending my chin and hips. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend slightly, brace through the abdomen, keeping the spine in that position fixed, and then I'm going to push my hips back, bring my hips forward. Notice there's a slight bend in the knees as I'm doing that. That's the hinge movement that we're working on, which is different from a squat. Another way to feel that is to have one foot planted, reaching the other foot back, bringing tension to the abdomen and keeping the spine relatively neutral. And I'm stepping that lifted leg pretty far back, and I should feel that tension in the planted leg on the hamstring and hips. Just play with this position to get familiar with the hinge. Next, we have band rows. So you may want to find a fence post or a small tree or something that you can attach a band to, wrapping around and looping it through. I would recommend playing with a slightly more resistant band here. Also, the further you choke up on the band, the more resistance you'll have. You're going to sit back, brace through the abdomen, and feel nice and solid. And I'm going to slowly pull the band towards my chest, pointing the elbows back and bringing the shoulder blades together. Keeping the elbows fairly close to the rib cage. I should feel this in my lats and upper back, and the back of my shoulders and biceps. If you want to get more out of this movement, you can also play with a tempo. So 5 count back, 5 count forward. Next, we have weighted hip lifts. So we're going to lay on the ground, knees bent. I'm going to grab a weight and place it on the center of my low abdomen and hips. I'm going to press my feet into the ground, bringing my hips up to the ceiling. I should feel this in my glutes and in my hamstrings, maybe a little bit in the quads. Bringing a little bit of tension to my abdomen as I'm doing this movement. I'm taking my time too. I want to make sure I get a full extension as I press my hips up. If this gets too easy or I have too light of a weight, I'm going to raise one leg and do a single leg hip lift. Again, if you want to get more out of this, you can make it a tempo lift. So 5 count up, 5 count down. Tuning into the muscles of the hamstring and the glutes and the hips. Maybe a little bit of the quad. Bringing tension to the abdomen as I do this as well. Here, I really want to make sure that as I press my hips up, I'm pressing my foot into the floor. All right, to finish up here, we have hollow body tuck progressions and arch ups. So here I'm just going to demonstrate a few progressions. One is my feet on the ground and the knees bent. I'm doing a sit up, reaching my hands forward. I'm keeping my face and throat relaxed and using that tension in the abdomen from just below the rib cage all the way down to the pelvis. Using those muscles to pull myself up. I can take it a step further by extending the legs but leaving them flat on the ground. Again, placing my tension in my abdomen and then tucking my knees up as I reach forward and then returning fully back to the ground. Work on keeping the face and neck relaxed. Bringing tension to the abdomen, the hips. We can take it a step further and hover the legs above the ground. This is going to be much more difficult. I'm also reaching my hands back as I come down to the ground. Same thing, keeping the head and neck relaxed, bringing the tension to the abdomen. All right, here for the arch ups. I'm going to extend my arms and legs forward, and my intention is to lift my rib cage and thighs off the ground, reaching my feet and hands up as high as I can. Feeling that tension from the back of the neck, running down the back into the glutes and into the hamstrings. All right, and that concludes this workout. Thank you for tuning in.